What an impressive victory by the Carolina Panthers over the Rams. Yeah. They were a 10-point underdog in this game, and they win outright. Describe the type of challenge, the mess that Dave Canales inherited 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was a total disaster, and I didn't think he'd be the guy to dig him out of it. I didn't think that Tepper was capable of finding the guy to dig him out of it. But I started to buy in last year, and on a bet, on one a bet, we talked about the Panthers quite a bit throughout the summer, and I love their alt total over 7.5. We played them plus 600. Tampa to finish first in the division, Carolina to finish second. We like Bryce Young over his touchdowns. We like Tet over 500 or over 5.5 touchdowns, and I think it was 750.5 receiving yards or 850.5 receiving yards. So they were a team we were kind of bullish on, and the evaluators I know and trust felt like Bryce Young showed enough last year that he could play in the league, and that they had established at least a foundation that he's not going to be falling all over himself, costing you games left and right. Now, is the defense that much better? You'd think it has to be at least a little better. The offensive line has been a revelation. It's a lot of the same guys as last year, but they've gelled and they've coalesced. And since they made the move to Dowdle, it's been a pretty effective unit. But I didn't think they'd be able to move the ball at the line of scrimmage like they did today. Because people have kind of got on to Dowdle the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I think defenses have taken him away. But Bryce Young, the 2 huge fourth down shots for touchdowns, Stafford throwing a pick six, Stafford throwing an interception as they were going in to finish a drive with at least a field goal, if not a touchdown. And then the Stafford fumble at the end of the game. I mean, there's 5 plays that really swung the game that that Carolina made happen. Look, I liked Carolina against San Francisco Monday night. I loved Bryce Young over 225 passing yards in that game. I thought Carolina, if they lost, would lose by 3 or less. I was off there. They're really good at home, and they've been really good at home from a covering standpoint since last year. And they've got some confidence, and the Bucs have a little bit of a fight on their hands now for that division. They really bounced back and showed some moxie today.
When it comes to new coaches taking over bad situations, we always preach patience. Hey, you can't just react. That's what the media or silly fans will do, except when you see Ben Johnson in Chicago and then Dave Canales in Carolina within a year or two really doing big things. Now, is it fair to quote-unquote overreact and say you get 2 years to figure it out?
Yes, the first time one of my dogs got in here, I'm in this room constantly. And the first time one of them got in here, and Gigi felt like she needed to make her presence felt. So thank you, Gigi. Yeah, look, the right guy can change things in an instant. I give Ben Johnson a lot of credit. And in real time, I picked on him, and a lot of people did, because he looked like a guy who was maybe a little too cute by half and turning down these jobs and stringing some of these owners on and then saying no. But he had to take a job last year or he was going to start not being the hot guy anymore. And it turns out him staying in that division and him getting with Caleb Williams was a perfect coupling. And they're a dominant rushing team. You go back to, week 5? They're the number 1 rushing team in the NFL. They're running the ball better than the Eagles. We just saw that. Who can't run the ball this year. They're running the ball better than the Ravens. They're running the ball better than the 49ers, who can't really run the ball this year efficiently. So Ben Johnson came in and he established the run scheme. And, I don't know that DeAndre Swift's been particularly healthy for a while now, but the Monangai kid who they drafted at the end of the draft has been great. Caleb's legs are a real problem. The fourth quarter mojo, I don't think that happens without a coach who's cocky and can back it up. I have had trouble putting my wallet behind them. I haven't necessarily been fading them. I've just kind of been observing. And are all the takeaways on defense totally sustainable? I don't know. I think it's probably who they are this year. I don't know about next year. So they're tricky out now. I feel better about them than I do the Lions. I'll put it to you that way. It could be quite a year. A world exists where the Bills, the Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Lions all missed the playoffs. I wonder what that parlay would have been if you parlayed those 4 together before the season started. It'd have been a lot of money. It'd have been a semester of somebody's college tuition if you put a little bit of money behind that. But that could be the reality.
What what is the biggest reason the Lions are not what they once were? Is it as simple as losing Ben Johnson and the entire Jenga tower falls?
No, well, I mean, I think they look. They lost both coordinators and they lost their center. That's a lot. That's a lot. I think that center was a real calming presence for Jared Goff and had a whole lot to do with Jared Goff's metamorphosis. And clearly they did too, because they got him out of retirement and then found out, oh, he still can't play. Like, he can't pass the physical. But they've made some panic moves now. Like, you switch up and take play calling away. I mean, this is a team that had been pretty steady Eddie. Like, we're going to play like Dan Campbell. We believe in what we believe in. We're going to go for every fourth down. We never lose twice in a row. We hang 35, 33, 32 on everybody who comes in our place. Like, this is what we are. None of that stuff is a truism right now. Goff does look off. He looks shaky. I think that Vikings game exposed some flaws in their scheme. And after that Vikings game, Dan Campbell took over play calling. And guess what? It's still not the same offense. It's not Ben Johnson's offense. The defense is not great. And all of a sudden, I don't know what's going on. Like, Hutchinson stopped dominating, taking games over. And now they're getting beat at the line of scrimmage. The injuries to the offensive line have certainly been significant. I just have a hard time buying them now. And I'm someone who blindly would bet Dan Campbell every week because he's going to win for you 2 out of 3. He's going to cover for you 3 times a month almost. That's not them right now.
You wrote a column for the Washington Post about this JJ McCarthy Viking situation and said it's not too early to start planning for a plan B. What are your sources saying about concern or regret in Minnesota? And what is plan B for the Vikings if JJ is not working out?
I don't think there's regret yet, but there's enough of a sample to show that this young man needs to make gains in so many different ways. Like, he needs to make gains in temperament. He needs to make gains in tempo. He needs to make gains in footwork and fundamentals. He needs to make gains in putting loft and air under a ball and learning some nuance with his delivery. He needs to make gains with his internal clock. Like, it's not like it's just, oh, well, if he was a little bit more accurate on the deep ball, then like, oh, he's a little too reliant on tight ends. Like, nobody looks good in their offense. Like, he clearly doesn't have anything going with the tight end. Jefferson is pretty much kind of like throwing his arms up in the air at this point. Like, it's a lot. It's enough that you can't ignore it and you can't just chalk it up to, well, we've got a QB guru and you don't, so we could polish up this diamond in one off season. Like, I'd be shocked if there's not a veteran quarterback of some caliber there. Like, maybe it's a Jameis Winston and we can argue about what caliber that is. But I don't think it's his job and we just bring in, like, somebody like what a Case Keenum was for years, not the 2017 version of Keenum that took them to the playoffs. Or, like, it's not like Josh McCown at the very end, or it's not like, I guess, whatever Garoppolo is now. Like, it's got to be somebody who you might need to start the first 6 to 8 games of the season. And if you think your defense is still pretty good, and they should, someone who's going to keep you in games, like someone who's going to push this young man. I can't fathom that they don't have someone in there of some caliber who's won games at the NFL level and has looked at least decent doing it. Like, I would say Jacoby Brissett would be great, but he signed a 2-year deal with the Cardinals. And he's not, I don't think, going anywhere. But yeah, they're going to have to address that situation. I mean, maybe it's as simple as Cousins goes back there. Like, if Cousins looks good these next few weeks, he looked a little better today, albeit against the Jets. But, like, maybe they get him on the cheap and he goes back there. But it has to be somebody who we can sell as at least someone to get us through the first half of the year, if not longer. And McCarthy's hurt all the time. So I think they are aware, and the locker room is definitely aware that this might not just be 12 OTA practices and here we go. He's our guy.
Right. That's the counterpoint, is that he didn't have a lot of attempts in college. He missed the entire rookie season due to injury. He's been injured this year as well. And people will say, look, you got to give him more starts. He deserves more starts. But you're saying that internally, there's at least some people in that locker room and some people in that organization go, it doesn't matter if he's only had a few starts. He's missing something.
Well, I mean, dude, he's completing 54% of his passes. Like his turnover-worthy throws are like you put a scatter chart together of McCarthy and anybody else who's played 3 games this year, and he's like, there's a couple guys here, and there's a cluster here and a cluster there, and he's off the map, like he's off the screen. It's bad. Like, and he's hurt all the time, and he's not even really using his legs as much as a lot of people thought he would. So, yeah, I would again be shocked if there is not someone who's doing more than he's not just there to coach him up and be a second coach and hold the clipboard and be his cheerleader and gas him up. No, like it's got to be somebody who by week 1 could give us a better chance of winning football games than him if he's not in a far different place than he is right now.
An organization that you know very intimately and have known for years, the Baltimore Ravens. Is there something going on with Lamar Jackson we don't know about? Because on Thanksgiving night, he didn't look anything like the Lamar Jackson that we know.
Well, he's not healthy. He hasn't been healthy. He doesn't trust his offensive line. I mean, there's a lot going on there. You can go back to week 7. The Baltimore Ravens averaged 3.9 per carry in the first half of games. Like, more Derrick Henry ain't really the answer because Derrick Henry on early downs this year has sucked. Go look at any advanced metric. Look at success rate. Look at EPA. It's going nowhere. The guy who could bail him out a little bit more, and he also is their best pass protector, Justice Hill, just went on IR. The offensive line isn't good. I think no one trusts him, including the play caller, Todd Monken. So, like, there's no explosives in the run game or the pass game, and there's not even really intent in the downfield pass game unless it's a scramble drill and a broken play. Lamar outside the tackle box is not as magical as he's been before because he's clearly not healthy. Every week it's something else. He hasn't really had any practice time with the team since before the injury at Arrowhead, which we're going back, 7 weeks. So there's a lot. He 100% Lamar Jackson covers up a lot of woes, but they don't have starting caliber guards. The right tackles regressed. Ronnie Stanley can never practice because he was on borrowed time 3 years ago with an ankle injury he thought was going to end his career then. Like, they redid his deal. They kept him around as a free agent, but, like, it's diminishing returns. The center's in a contract year. He's undersized. The guards next to him suck. So he's kind of in his own head. Like, it's just not a good situation. It's been a bad offense for a long time. They don't really have a discernible strength, which is crazy because this is a team a year ago that had a 4,000-yard passer or a 1,000-yard rusher. That's the same guy. A 2,000-yard running back, 2 1,000-yard receivers. Rashad Bateman's one of the best deep ball guys in the league. Zay Flowers is one of the best underneath intermediate guys in the league. Oh, yeah, and either move tight end could beat you in the red zone whenever they want it. They've got none of that. I don't think they're going to the playoffs. Like, the defense is good. It ain't great. When they play real quarterbacks, they get shredded. They have no discernible pass rusher on their roster. No one of any real caliber. I mean, Draymond Jones is a try-hard guy. Like, that's great. He's like, there's no coordinator in the league that's worried a damn about Draymond Jones, whether he's lined up on the rushing on the inside or the outside. It's not a great roster. People gas the roster up all offseason. The GM came out and told everybody, I don't have a whole lot to do this offseason. We're great. Like, he said that. We play the clip on my radio show all the time. Next year, I might have some stuff to do, but, I don't really have a big offseason. Like, we're in really good shape. Okay, well, you added nothing to it, and this is what you get. They have no money invested in their offensive line or their defensive line outside of Nnamdi Madubuike, who might never play football again with a neck injury. Like, I don't know. That strikes me as kind of problematic.
So there were some people that were kind of coming down hard on Harbaugh earlier in the season, at least when Lamar was healthy and the defense was a disaster. Is it really more on the roster build in the front office more than it is the coaching staff if this season ends up outside of the postseason?
I mean, I think it's on all of them. I don't think Steve Bisciotti's doing a damn thing. Like, they'll beat the teams they're supposed to beat mostly. They'll blame injuries. Like, Bisciotti's going to sell the team before he's going to blow the building up and start over with a new coach and a new GM. Like, I just don't think he's got any inclination to do that. So at the end of the day, it won't really matter. But, like, all they want to do is collect corners and safeties, and they don't want to invest in pass rush. And they believe they could just find mid-round picks, and they don't draft well in the mid-round since Ozzie left. I mean, the Ozzie's still there, but he's not making the call anymore. So, no, you can't just build an offensive line in the 3rd through 5th round every year. They don't want to pay anybody outside of their building at all. So I think it just continues to be the same thing. Like with that quarterback, you're going to win 70 to 80% of your regular season games as long as he's remotely healthy. And then you're going to face real teams in the playoffs, and they're going to be able to get after your quarterback more than you can get after theirs. And, rinse, wash, repeat. But no, I don't think anything's going to change one way or the other. But I just find it hilarious that everything Eric DeCosta does gets rubber stamped by his buddies in the media. A, just go Google Ravens draft grades. It's never not an A. Like a bad year is a B+. Like Ravens off seasons, they're always amazing, except when they actually have to play football.
Finally, are the Eagles' problems solvable before the playoffs?
I'm worried now. I was abstaining, but I'm old enough to remember 2023, right? They lost 5 of their last 6. The whole thing fell apart. Then they got their ass kicked by Tampa in the playoffs. Like, just the way, it's not just that they're losing, it's the way they're losing, and just watching them in real time, like sort of die this slow death, and nobody's changing their temperament, and nobody's expressing real urgency during games, on the sidelines, after games. Like, it's just not passing my eye test now. The offensive line, which was the strength of that offense, is really beat up. The quarterback is just in such a triage mode. He's just so scared to throw a pick that it is holding them back. And the defense is now, all of a sudden people are running on defense a little bit, which I didn't think was going to be possible. I mean, the defense has been on the field for like 158 snaps in a 5-day span. They've given up 6 offensive touchdowns in the last 2 weeks, 3 in each game. I think they had given up 3 offensive touchdowns once in a game all season prior. So I guess what I'm saying is I think the woes of the offense now are bleeding over into their collective psyche. And I think a lot of people are kind of feeling sorry for themselves. And then you've got the Super Bowl sort of hangover and how hard it is to repeat. I'm concerned that they might not be able to shake off this malaise. I don't believe in the offensive coordinator at all. I don't think they do either. The running back had 2,000 yards last year. Just Google what historically happens to them the year after that. And you put it behind an offensive line that's regressed majorly with all the injuries. I don't fancy their chances in the postseason right now.
For joining us here on Watch DA Live, my friend Jason La Canfora is going to get himself a bottle of Santo Tequila. This is a tequila collaboration between Guy Fieri and Sammy Hagar, rock legend.
Wow.
It's the smoothest, cleanest tequila on the market. They are our title sponsor here on the show, and it's coming to you, my friend, for the holidays. Thank you.
It must taste like a bad motor scooter. We don't get the reference. You
should.
And I thank you very much.
Use it in good health. Drink it in good health. Man, it's always good to catch up with you. Thanks so much for dropping on by, and I hope that you have an awesome holiday season.
You do the same, brother. Thank you.
Jason La Canfora joining us here on the show. Thanks very much.